Oxford Downtown Development Authority Board meeting February 26, 2024. If we can all rise for the pledge of allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Leanne's not here. Let's have Grace do roll call today, okay?
Okay. Cook? Here. Hess is gone. Powers, gone. Clark?
Here.
Schultz?
Here.
Charles?
Here.
Carrie here. And Colvin?
Here.
Okay. I see no public here. So let's move on to the consent agenda. Approval of the proposed agenda. I want to make one change to the agenda, and I incorporate it as a change, or I can just go through it when we get to the org meeting, but I have the minutes from the organization meeting, meeting that we had today. So any suggestions on the best way to put this in?
I think
Any
you
ideas?
should discuss it. I mean, it says board committee report.
I'm sorry.
I think you can also do it under new business too, because we're also talking about board.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Should we put on org or should we put on new business? Because we can adjust the agenda if we're going to put under new business.
Committee report will say what we're doing, but then it should be under new business as far as making it official.
Okay. So do you want to introduce, change the agenda then? Careful.
I make a motion to approve the proposed agenda with the following amendment, that the minutes will be added from the org committee under DDA reports under 7B will be added, and then under new business 9C will be board officer appointments,
There you go.
or whatever you want to call it.
And I'll second that. Very good. Okay, so we need to vote on that, and we have any discussion on that? No? Grace, did you, let's just, we just say all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so just trying to give Grace some opportunity to kind of, get the rust out there. Okay, where were we before we were so we're going to approve that. Board minute meetings, police report, and code enforcement. Can we do that all in one big swoop? So would someone like to make a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion to receive and file the January 2024 meeting minutes, police report, and code enforcement report.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Now this one,
All in favor?
we don't have any financial issues on that, so all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, speaking of financials, let's go make that separate there. Comments on the financial statements and revenue expense report. Can we put that in one too, for
Yep.
A and B? Let's do that together, so, Pete?
I'll make a motion to receive and file the financial statements and revenue expenditure reports and pay the bills for January 2024 in the amount of $16,760.42.
Grace, I thought your hand was up.
No, you had something?
Something you want to second it, or someone want to second it?
I'll second it.
All right, so Grace will second it, we'll let her. Like the township, they're racing. All right, so discussion about that? Okay, so let's do a roll call. Grace?
Okay. Charles?
Yes?
Cook?
Yes.
Schultz?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Colvin?
Yes.
Carrie? Yes.
And one thing, when we do roll call like that, we should alternate, just, so we call Kelsey first, the next time we kind of move down the line, so that the same person isn't the first one all the time.
Yeah, I thought
She
I went
did
to
that.
the-
No, I'm just reminding, that's
Yeah.
just why we're doing it, that's all, I forget, so that's what I do remember. It's a method to the madness there. DDA reports, we're going pretty quickly here. Are you prepared, or executive director?
Yes, that was my hope for,
Are you also
quick
warm?
meeting. Yeah, I'm freezing. I'm sorry. I still have my coat on. It was such a busy month, but congratulations on accreditation. I thought that Dana's first comment after the first meeting was, well, we can be done here today, because I've never seen so many businesses smiling in a room during accreditation day. So it was really, really great. We had our follow-up after where they just kind of dig into a few more details. We had a very long annual report that we were responsible for, so some things on that, and everything was great. So they'll make their presentation next couple of months to us at Village Council, but overall, they were just very impressed by, you know, the last couple of years and then where we were going this year. So great job to everybody on that. The TIF went great at Village Council. We actually received positive feedback from people who made public comment. The second reading will be March 11th, I think, Kelsey, is the next meeting for Village, but we have received nothing in writing of people asking to reduce the amount of funds. So great news for us, and it also makes it easier because I'm working through our budget right now. Good news on that, and thank you to McKenna for helping us through that process. We worked with a ton of new businesses this whole month, just businesses that want to find a spot downtown, people who are coming just a couple miles away because they want to be within the DDA district. We met with a lot of businesses on what they're thinking for signs and facade grants, and the most volunteer applications I've ever received. Actually, we got another 6 this month of people who either read about something in the paper or saw something online and they just want to get involved. So that's really exciting. We actually got 5 applications to fill the board seat. So we've been working through that. We talked about that in our work committee, so I won't steal all of Pete's thunder. Today, we had Eric Phillips in from Main Street, Oakland County, to come in and talk with our businesses that maybe haven't been on our e-commerce site or that wanted to get better at uploading products. So we had people in our office all day learning that today, and I'm excited about a couple of the new ones that were able to sign up. So it's been very successful for our businesses. One of the ones that it's been most successful with is Modern Marketplace. She is actually the most successful on the e-commerce platform in Oakland County out of the 10 communities. So it's nice to have a business of ours. And just to share some numbers with you, in the past month and a half since it launched, she's done over $6,000 of sales on this platform, and that's without the county putting advertising money behind it. So actually in the next couple of months is when they're going to put advertising behind it. So we were able to share that story and get more businesses to want to be on there, just knowing those numbers. Let's see here. Sponsorship wise, we throughout all of the reports and accreditation and TIF and everything, you know, all that fun work, we were able to work with the businesses on sponsorship. So between last week and then I worked on it a little bit today, we were able to get Oxford Bank in for a sponsorship, double the amount that they usually sponsor for concerts in the park. Individually have a sub-sponsor on every single concert. We're able to get 2 sponsors on the summer market this year so that we can have advertising behind that. And I was able to secure 2 additional $5,000 partners for the trolley. So to date, today, just in the past week, we've raised over $15,000 in sponsorships from just our local businesses. And that's not including Lake Orion at all. So they're out on that side trying to help with the trolley sponsorship. But super excited for some of the new businesses that are coming in too that want to be a part of this series. And they were fighting over concerts today, which I mean, I love, because I'm like, you guys are great, but we sold out of them and we had more people saying, okay, well, what do I get now? Like, what can I do? So it's been really, really good. I think that's it. I won't steal all the thunder from our committees.
Just a couple thoughts. I know Paul Mobile was excited about going to that meeting today with, was it Design by Chance, I should know the name, but you know, he has the little building that my wife owns, we own. And they're really excited about going there and learning about that. You know, he thought that was really cool.
Yeah, if I can share like a little story from over the weekend for them is, so Designs by Chance, that was one of the ones that we had at the markets and then now have a space, a retail location. And Scott Cree, who's on our design chair, his daughter's 10th birthday was this weekend. So they called and said, hey, we see you do classes, can we host her 10th birthday party there? His wife, Scott's wife, put it online and we shared it, and Paul said they just got an influx of people now wanting to host birthdays there to the point where they could hardly keep up today. And so now he'll be able to have his classes on the e-commerce platform and be able to do tickets on there as a management system. So he was so excited to meet with us today in Oakland County.
Yeah, I spoke with him, he's very appreciative of what was being done over there. And I thought it was pretty cool too, because, you know, we have a fair number of restaurants and bars in Oxford, so here's an establishment that brings in people that, you know, are doing these activities, be it adults or the kids. The only downside was he called me Saturday night in the middle of a kid's birthday party because the toilet wasn't working.
Oh, to be landlord.
But that's something I talked about with our village manager. There was, you know, we had that problem with the concrete earlier this year, the water thing, and gravel got the water line, is what the problem was. So it's all the fault of Kelsey Cook.
Can't take you anywhere, Rod.
But it is pretty cool though. You go by there and, you know, the first time I went by at night, I'm looking at some of the lights on and I thought, oh, they left the lights on, I'm gonna go turn the lights off. And I looked at it, there's all these people that are smiling and having a great time, having fun. Then when Paul called me to tell me about the toilet, we're talking, I hear all these little kids laughing in the background, having a great time. Isn't that the coolest thing, you know? I mean, for the community as well as them. So I think that's and like I said, he was really appreciative of what's going on over there, that little thing there.
All right, so let's go on to Herr Schultz. Process us with the org committee.
Board committee met today, all members were present. One of the things we discussed, we did a brief overview of the TIF plan. Everything is set to go for final reading and adoption, and that's on at the village council meeting on March 12th, is that second Tuesday. That should be ready to go. Briefly talked about the southeast quadrant project. There's a few punch list items left to finish up on that yet. There'll be some sidewalk repair under warranty that they have to do, but then we'll be able to get that one all put together. On the lighting project, new owners of the Blue Ivy building, and they've already talked and given permission, so the lighting will be going up on the top of Blue Ivy, so now it'll be continuous. And then also the 51 South Washington, that building hasn't been done yet at all, so that'll be done at the same time. So that'll give us complete end-to-end, block-to-block on both sides, so looking sharp, so really nice. We also will be starting by the March meeting, then we'll be getting ready to do annual review for Kelly, because it's that time of the year again. And we've gotten some applications in for the empty board seats, so we'll be reviewing those to bring them forward for recommendations and interview, final and everything, and send on to the village council for approval on that. We also talked about getting ready for our 24-25 budget, starting to work on that. And right now it was actually in October, wasn't it, or September, when the board officer positions were up
Yes.
for renewal, and we've kind of missed by that anyhow. Rod has term limited it out. So the board is recommending coming forward, the board committee is recommended to put me in as president, and we're recommending Gracie for vice president, and Leanne was for secretary. And that's our recommendation. That'll be taken care of in new business farther down. And that was it.
And Brad Jacobson took minutes, so I thought he got a copy. A couple of things here, if you don't mind, I'll just kind of.
Sure.
Because he texted or emailed it to me and I printed out before I came over here. In addition to those things, let's see, you talked about the budget, we talked about brass historic plaques for the homes and businesses downtown. We talked about that previously too. I personally think that'd be a really cool thing to do, a QR code would be, you said Orion's done it?
Yeah, so what it is, it's a brass plaque that also incorporates a QR code, so it gives a brief history, but then when you scan it, it goes to their website and gives all the history of what that building was from, 1800s on. So.
What would you think we could get that done, Kelly, just ballpark?
I'm sorry?
How much time would it take us to actually do it?
So I know that Lake Orion, it did take them about 6 months to do it. I will reach out actually to Molly, who worked on the project, to see, there was a small group that she worked with who helped them to do this, that does it in many communities. But I would like to see if the museum would help dig up the information on some of these historic buildings so that hopefully we're not responsible for writing all the stories in the history from a time standpoint. So I'd like to work with them if they're willing.
A couple of sources that might be of assistance too, because I agree with you, that's a lot to take on amongst all the other things that you and Kimberly are doing, but I think the high school history department could help out a little bit there too. It might be a win-win because they haven't done a lot of that stuff around here. And then possibly the communication director at the township has, in the past, used to write a lot of historical articles when he was editor of the newspaper.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And the other thought on it too is if we do the Ford Community Foundation intern again this year, it could be a good project for that intern as well.
It's a great idea. We talked about that. We talked about the 501.
Yes,
You wanna
which
bring
I
it up?
actually have under new business for the
Okay.
tech grant
I
on
didn't know,
here.
all right. DPW power washing, we talked about that a little bit too, right? Just to get that cleaned up.
And I talked with the village manager after, and he already set it up with them, so we'll
Okay.
be able to do that.
And you mentioned about the placemaking wayfinding, right? I'm just reading from our minutes from the meeting here.
Mhm.
So did you want to mention anything about that? Since that's
The
your
ARPA
daily-
funding, that'll be part of our, budget, but ARPA funding is coming down from the county. We applied for the 300,000, and we'll have to match at 60% at this point right now, but we have until 2026. So looking at our budget as I'm starting to work through the next cycle, I feel like we'll be able to set enough aside to be able to spend it by then. But there is a chance that we might not have to match at the 60% because depending on the communities that are doing these projects, if they pull out, then we'll be able to get more money and not have to match at the 60. I'm hoping that it ends up about us matching around 40%. That's what we originally were planning on, which we would definitely be able to do. But regardless, even if it's only 100,000 coming in, we can still implement some of the projects, the wayfinding signage, some cleanup on Burdick with some new pavers there, and then behind the businesses.
Should we have and I don't know, you're doing the budget, are you doing something, we set some money aside for this in the budget?
Yeah, so that's what I'm working through with the budget, is to see what we saved this year, and then also knowing now how we are with sponsorship, being able to put that in and see just an estimate of what we're gonna be able to save this year.
I mentioned at the meeting today that when we were told about the M24 project years ago, at that time, we were told we could come up with $400,000, and we got a sinking fund, which helped a lot when it came up, so.
Yep. Over the next 2 years, we should be able to save around 250,000. That's what it's looking like right now, but I want to dig into those numbers a little bit more.
Okay. All right, so that's board committee. All right, let's see here, my pages. Okay, Economic Vitality Committee.
Yeah, so I think we had a really robust meeting this past month.
Is that what we're gonna call it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a bit more lively than usual. And it was also Valentine's Day, so
That's probably why.
yeah, thank you for everyone who came during the middle of the day. But we did have a couple of guests. We had Eric Phillips from Main Street, Oakland County, and we also had a new potential volunteer member of our committee in attendance. So really hopeful that he will continue to attend and become a member of the committee as well. But We started off with going over the finalized survey results from our 2024 Downtown Oxford survey. We ended up, I believe, with 292 survey responses, which is pretty good considering that the population of the village itself and even of the district is quite small. And we learned, I think, quite a bit about who's coming here, how often, and why. So I was really excited to hear a couple of the org committee updates. The power washing actually came up quite frequently in our survey, and people were hoping to see that. And I know that we do that regularly, but I know that that's going to make a lot of our community happy. And so there were a lot of, I think, pointers from that we can follow up on in our committees as we think about what we're going to be doing this next year. Other than that, Eric had a really fantastic data set for us that looked into, I believe it used cell phone
Yes.
data to track how many people were coming into our district boundaries and into the village, more largely speaking, and at what frequency. So he was able to pinpoint how many people are coming into the downtown on a daily basis, and of those people, how many of them come down to like the hours, like the windowed hours.
How long they stay.
Yeah, how
too.
long they stay, and it only it only captures a number if somebody's here for, I think he said, longer than 7 minutes. So that
I
would
think
be.
20, yeah, 20 minutes, I think. What was
It
it,
was
7?
7. Yeah, because we were joking that if you got stuck at all the red lights.
Yeah,
it
we
would
talked
get you,
about that
but-
because, that would be an issue if you're stuck there at the four corners.
Yeah. But I do think that data set that he gave us was very interesting. It gave us some profiles also about large kind of categories of people that are coming, like working professionals, families, things of this nature. And so that's something that we'd be happy to share with everyone. I think it was very useful to see. And he also said that we can contact him to get, I think, updated kind of data profiles like that,
Yes.
and to get, I think, some more in-depth data.
Bruce, do you remember what community other than Oxford where most of our visitors are from?
So after, just thinking about it, so it was us, then it was the township. Now outside of the township, it was the Brandon area was quite large, and a lot of people had marked when they wrote in Brandon, but an Oxford mailing address, or Brandon, but Oxford's my downtown. So I think just keeping in mind that there's a lot of people who live in Brandon that consider this their downtown, they consider this their town, that's where a large number of our like daily and twice weekly kind of visitors are coming from, or that immediate surrounding area. And I was a little surprised to see that number was just as high or sometimes higher.
Well, some of
than,
that's
like,
driven by the
Brandon.
fact that the school system goes deeply into Brandon Township.
Yeah. So that's something to just keep in mind. We had a lot of really good responses about the hometown hop that we did, and I think incorporating some more trolley related opportunities to our immediate surrounding areas could have some really beneficial impact on community kind of sense of togetherness and getting folks who already live in our area to come into the downtown more frequently. Other than that, we discussed the upcoming Main Street Oakland County Awards. Last year we did quite well, hoping that we can get some recognition again this year. So I think that there were, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 potential categories that we're looking to apply for. And then the EV committee is also working on a community partners presentation, just talking about, the work that the DDA does, what a TIF plan is, why it's important, and kind of the benefits that we give back to the community. So we think it's really important to kind of keep our partnership relationship strong. So we're going to be setting up a series of conversations with a lot of our partners in the community, giving this presentation, and hopefully just creating that warm connection again as we move into the TIF plan renewal. That was about it.
That's plenty, that was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
For the survey, can you share all the results with the board? Can I see them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're anonymized.
Okay, perfect. And then, I guess, are you planning on doing kind of like a snapshot for those people who took the survey particularly, it sounded like a lot of the responses came from like Facebook, so we could even post something to say like, we heard you, this is what we heard, and this is what we're doing about it, just so when we send out future surveys, people are like, oh yeah, I'll respond to that because I saw what
It's a
happened
great
last time.
idea.
Yeah,
I think the key thing, Kelsey, would be, I mean, I agree with you about the survey. You know, personally, sometimes surveys can be skewed as you're sending toward maybe Facebook or something like that, and
Mhm.
I know he's not excited about surveys and comments, just because I've been in other committees where it seems like a couple people say things and one group doesn't say much.
Right,
Though I'm impressed that we had 292 responses.
yeah.
The township, on the township survey, there was only 700.
mhm.
And to compliment, you know, Grace and the others, part of the reason is I think the questions were more digestible, having 5 questions instead of,
Yeah.
Yes, the
Township's
township's
tough.
way too long.
Way too long.
yeah, my wife struggled at the kitchen table, and I said, "Are you doing this?" She said, I'll do it, finish it tomorrow." So, yeah, that's the compliment.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's great.
I do agree that I think creating some type of, whether a visual or just like, hey, these were the top things that came out of the survey would be a great thing to do. Yeah, and I also think we could create maybe a more, I do have a one-page kind of visualization of all the data, but something that's just a quick hit list of bullet points of like, these were the top priority areas from the community for us to keep in mind. For committees would be helpful as well. And we had also collected email addresses from people who are interested in volunteering or who had ideas for starting a group or some type of project in town. So I have separated that from the data and cleaned the data so it's anonymized. And Kelly and Kim have the list of emails to contact all of those folks and do follow-up to see like, hey, here's ways to get involved, here, you know, here's a link to our volunteer application, or if you have an idea, if you want to start a cornhole league, something like that, let us know. So hopefully we will be getting
Yes.
some more traction off of that as
Yeah.
well.
Those were not part of the 6 that reached
Yeah.
out this week.
So we should have plenty of volunteers, which
Oh,
in the
yeah.
past, you know, as long as Pete and I've been involved with the DDA, that's always been a sore subject. There's times they don't have anybody, so it seems like we have a real nice crowd of people.
Yeah.
The other thing we plan on doing, I might have said this before, but going back to the partners, and that was a term that Ashley came up with our subcommittee, is to maybe do a presentation to the village council or whatever constituent group there to say, here's what the DDA does. A lot of people don't know what the DDA does. Here's where the money comes from roughly, that kind of thing like that. And then try to keep it where it's digestible because, you know, you have a meeting, you don't want to be there for 2 hours. So if we can make it 15, 20 minutes, I think that'd be the way to do it. But I think it's pretty exciting, so. Anyway, thanks, Grace. All right, so promo committee, who's gonna handle that?
I can do that because Leanne was at promo committee. I already covered a lot about concerts, so I'll just skim over that. We have 2 more bands to book. We reached out to a couple of people today, but everything else is ready to go for concerts in the park. Restaurant week currently running, doing well. I heard Friday was a really good night for the restaurants. St. Patrick's Day coming up, we are doing a St. Patrick's Day pregame, which is Saturday night bar crawl. And that was because we didn't have sponsorships ready for the trolley, to make some extra funds to continue to run the trolley. So we're at 60 tickets sold right now, which is really good because we just released last week. Our target is 200, so we're hoping to be able to get to that 200 mark. Shopping passports will start. Trying to get a hold of Lake Orion. They did have the shopping passports ordered, so hopefully they're ready for tomorrow. We did the same thing in March last year. Bring in your receipts and then get a gift card from Oxford and Lake Orion. Letterboxing in April, and then Lake Orion did bring this up, I guess, in their promo committee to us, and it was to rebrand the Stronger Together as something new and fresh. To move forward. So we kind of kicked that around in promo committee. Our promo committee said, sure, I think it's fine. It's just taking out the hashtag. It's not necessarily changing much else, but something that's fresh and not necessarily relating to the tragedy and what happened. And then trolley sponsors, we have proposals sitting in front of Meyer, Oxford Bank Committed, and the Oxford TAP. And then we have proposals in front of a couple of other businesses. So our goal is to have 5 partners at $5,000 apiece. Right now we have 2 with, I think, 1 more. I was emailing back and forth with them today. So that would run us for the remainder of 2024 and cover everything that we need covered. And then our summer market, Kimberly put out the vendor applications last week and just got an influx of people who wanted to be a part of it, which is awesome. We came up with the idea today, we're gonna utilize the new e-commerce site and have a DDA shop on there and be able to put our vendor spaces on there so that people can pay online, where in the past they've had to come to Vicky and she's been nice enough to take all of our payments. But this way people can do it right from their computer, they can submit everything and we're done. So we'll be able to do this for events moving forward and keep even better organized.
Kelly, if you can mention this to the promo committee too, I don't remember who told me this the other day, they thought if we had some entertainment at one of the vendors' days, it might help a little bit there too.
Yes.
just for the-
We did talk about that too.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, cool.
And then we are in top 5 for best of the best for shopping district. We made top 5, so voting starts March 3rd. Don't worry, I'll email and remind you 1,000 times to vote every day. And we have spring cleaning set up for April 21st from 1 to 5, and then to come back out and do a flower planting day May 17th, once it warms up a little bit more. And Rod had a great idea on Friday to have maybe the trolley be part of that. It needs a little stain and it needs some cleanup. And then the other thing is, let's see, our friends at Modern Marketplace are doing a big Mother's Day kickoff in their back section there, because Les Thomas will be done with his project with that 2-tiered structure. So we would like to capitalize on them already doing that big event, get mothers into town shopping, and we would like to activate the courtyard area. So that'll kind of be like the opening day for the year back there. So that'll be that weekend that you see on there under number 11, May, I think it's the 11th is Mother's Day weekend. And that's about it.
Okay, design committee.
Thank you. Okay, we had a really short meeting and it was lightly attended because it was the same day as the Main Street accreditation was going on, so not a lot to talk about. We talked about the TIF, of course, but the 2 main things were there were 2 sign grants that we recommended. One for the new K-Blox barbecue, which is taking the place of the wood chips, and then there's one for Choice Therapeutic, which is down by the Fuel Your Energy
Next to Fuel.
thing, yes.
Yep.
And it's I guess they do massages, so, but we'll go through those in new business. And, yeah, we were, quite quick because we all wanted to leave and go to the accreditation, so, so those were our 2 main things.
Okay. All set. So unfinished old business, and then we have a couple of sign grants that'll come up here too.
Right.
All right, so TIF plan, I guess that's you again.
I feel like we already talked about all these
Yeah.
things.
Okay, does
TIF
anyone
plan
else
is
have any
great.
questions about the TIF plan? Bryce, anything there? Nope, okay. Trolley updates, Kelly, there's a few odds and ends there, I mean, I think we covered
more
everything
odds.
pretty much. I mean, the big thing is to get enough, money to
Yep,
run the trolley. And the other issue that we've discussed, it's been a repeated issue because of the age of the trolley, there's always repair issues. There were some issues this weekend, and I felt bad because Kelly worked diligently, I'm being polite, how much she worked to get the trolley here this weekend, despite issues with the mechanics. That was an interesting story, it wouldn't be appropriate to have it being filmed, for the repeat and
Yeah.
everything. And then all of a sudden, the trolley didn't operate Saturday night. Actually, didn't even operate all Friday night, if I recall, right?
yep. So we would like we need to have new conversation with NODA, but perhaps be looking for some additional drivers.
You know, when Kelly and I were talking about this, I felt really bad because she worked so diligently to get that trolley here with the company that's repairing it. I mean, you can talk to her later about the war stories. Well, what do we do? I mean, what if we don't have a driver at NODA? Can we have a backup driver? Can we have a backup system? I'm posing that rhetorically, because when we use NODA, we have it where, you know, they've got the insurance, they've got licensed drivers, but, you know, we might want to be thinking about some kind of a workaround. You know, if somebody's not available or doesn't want to do it. You know, I think maybe the new board chair should take that and get a license. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you can drive a fire truck, you can drive a trolley.
True.
What do you guys think, huh? You notice my timing on it?
Brilliant.
Yeah, well, there you go. You're the perfect guy.
See what you walked into, Pete?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. So that's the trolley update, sponsorship updates. Are we good with that too? Or,
Yeah, we're good. We are this week focused on the two that are committed, getting their large decals put on the trolley. We're doing it differently than what you see where Liv is located right now, because we're doing this 5 and we want them to be equal, is we're gonna utilize just the back for our sponsors, so that we're not just plastering the trolley with logos. Honestly, I
we're
mean,
gonna hold it together.
at this point, that'd be great.
Like duct tape or something, huh? Well, we have an election coming up, and we're gonna put political signs.
Oh no, I'm not even going there.
Well, I've been asked, and I said the same thing. 9. Okay, so we're all set with 8, and we're on to 9. 9A, we have 2 grant applications, the K-Block sign and the Choice Therapeutics. Catherine, you want to kind of cover that a little bit?
Yeah.
What your
Yeah,
backyard?
yeah, like I said, we met, and the K-Blox barbecue is going in where the old wood chips was. And we recommended a grant, 50%, maximum $1,500, so they could put in their new sign. It's pretty standard, it looks good on the building. They still have wood chip stuff in the window for the picture, but you know, that's okay.
It's channel cut letters, so it's really nice. It's gonna match the channel cut that we just asked the, what's the doctor one next to it now? The, not door doctor,
Window.
glass doctor.
Glass doctor.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we just, they came to us with a sign. We actually went back to them and said, hey, could you do the channel cut letters? It's just cleaner, it looks nice. So it should look really good over there.
Okay, so that'd be, so let's,
I'll make a motion to approve a sign grant for K-Blox Barbecue at 40 Washington Street in the amount of, for 50%, not to exceed $1,500.
I'll second that.
okay, so discussion about this grant, any comments from the people? So Grace, could you do a roll call vote, please?
Not here. Colvin?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Schultz?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
Carrie? Yes.
Okay. All right, Catherine, I hope you're not getting tired out doing all this.
Oh, it's just so.
I know it's really tough, but how about the next one, Choice Therapeutics?
Okay. Choice Therapeutics, which is going in next to the fuel place down on the corner there. They are, as I said, they're a new massage place, so they applied for a sign grant. It's, you know, above the door. I think it's supposed to be navy, this looks black, but somewhere it said it was navy.
Looks navy.
Yeah, I think this looks black, but that's probably me just being colorblind. Anyway, so they're doing massages there. We met and we agreed to approve a signed grant of 50%, not to exceed $1,500 for them as well.
So would someone like to make a resolution?
I'll make a motion to approve a signed grant for Choice Therapeutics at 53 South Washington, in the amount for 50% of the total not to exceed $1,500.
I'll support.
Okay, moved by Captain Colvin, second by Kelsey Cook. Let's do a roll call, please, Bruce.
Schultz,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Colvin,
Yes.
Carrie, yes.
Pete, was that that was a gas station one, wasn't it? Right there, that location, Brett Merritt's place?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hard to think there was a gas station at that building one.
Mhm.
Probably, were those tanks ever removed, Pete? Do you know?
Yep.
Really? So?
They all have to be.
Okay, tech grant.
So annual tech grant, in talking with the county and working through our TIF plan, one of the things that came up was how do we have additional streams of revenue if people do start to reduce the amount of money that they're giving us. So the way that most DDAs are moving is they're setting up 501s. And how they're doing that is they're having one attorney draft it who knows DDAs. So I asked them if we could use our tech grant this year to hire the attorney, set up our 501, and then just moving forward, we would be able to do crowdfunding, all of our sponsorships would run through there. Any additional like end of the year thank you campaign or anything people could give through this 501. Farmington did this a few years ago. They raised over $100,000 for one of their projects downtown through a crowdfunding campaign and 501. Rochester has one set up, Ortonville, Holly. So many are doing it. I think that this is a good way to set ourselves up so that in 2 years down the road, if certain taxing authorities pull out some of their money, this is a way for us to make sure right now that we're not missing a beat and that we have enough. So the approval would just be to spend our tech dollars on that. I would trust that the county, they set us up with a few attorneys that we can talk to that have done this before for some of the other DDAs. But I think it's a good way to go and it sets us up for success in the future. So this is not necessarily the actual amount, it's just saying for us to go down this route and explore spending our tech grant in this area.
Just a couple of comments, I'll I've had clients do this for charities, and it is a process that it's kind of irritating because it's a long process. And the other thing to think about, it's not just doing this in a one-time shot, because every year you have to do tax returns too.
Annual reports and stuff.
Yep, annual reports, the whole caboodle. So we have to be prepared to have that as a budget item going forward. Kelsey?
Excuse me, the tech grant, sounds like you're saying this is something that we've gotten before?
Yep, sorry, the
How
tech
much
grant
is
is
it?
from the county.
Okay,
And because we're a select level community,
Mhm.
we receive 7,500 every single year.
okay.
So some things that we've done in the past is that's how we set up our gift card program and received all of our gift cards. So that whole program was taken care of by the tech grant. The tech grant this past year, we actually spent it on McKenna and helping us with the TIF plan. So it's just a way that the county can help support for some of those outside resources or consulting companies. And this is a way that many DDAs in the past have spent their tech grant, so they were comfortable with us moving forward.
Thank
In
you.
the process of getting attorneys, let's find out what they pay a tax preparer too. You know, it might be something to consider as well. I mean, if we're gonna lose some funding, we're gonna need to find out. Catherine?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing. There's going to be continual costs. with
Yes.
this, So you're
Yes.
gonna have to plan for that, and make sure it's budgeted, because it's not gonna be a one-time.
Right.
Pete?
Kelly, you gotta research it then and bring forward a couple of the attorneys and make a presentation to us, and we decide which one, or have them bid, I guess is the correct way to do that.
Yes, exactly. So in March, at least what we think we're gonna spend our money on is due to the county, so that's why I wanted to bring it to you now, just so that I can give them an answer, and then I can actually bring amounts and the process and what it would cost ongoing to
Okay.
you guys, for you guys to actually vote.
So I think we should take a vote if we want to proceed on this or not. I mean, what are your thoughts? I think we should look into it. I'm not saying we should do it, but I guess the question I'm asking, should we vote on whether we can look into it? What do you think? Or would you just, I'll tell you what, let's do this. I'll make a motion that we begin the process of looking into a 501c. What would that be called? I would say organization, a 501c entity for the benefit of the DDA.
I'll support.
Second, all right, then supported by Catherine, so let's do a roll call on that too, since it involves money.
Okay. Clark,
Yes.
Colvin,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes?
Cook,
Yes.
Carrie, yes.
Good deal. So, yeah, that's something to look into, the attorneys and stuff. We can do a little homework on whether they've done it before or not. It is a pain in the neck. I've done a little bit myself. Okay, 9C, that's the new officers. I'm sorry, Grace, I'm ignoring you. I see you waving your hand there.
Yeah, I just had some questions. Since we're asking for the lawyers to do presentations, or not presentations, but some bidding process on what that process would be like, I'm wondering if we could also put together maybe a slide deck on what the benefits would be for us doing a 501c3. I know you mentioned several of them, but I think having that listed out for us to also see and to think about as well would be helpful. So immediately you were saying crowdfunding, and I was thinking of MEDC's like Public Spaces, Community Places program, which if you're unfamiliar with that, it is a state program for crowdfunding that is specifically for placemaking in communities. So it's through MEDC, so it's like, it's not going on Kickstarter or something like that. I think that there could be a lot of
And that is the program
Complications or
that
something like that?
Farmington used,
yes.
was through the MEDC, but to receive those funds and to do it correctly,
You
they
need to
needed
have-
their
Yeah, so
501.
I'm just wondering if like alongside those bids, maybe we could get a board presentation on what would the benefits be of doing a 501c3, and from your perspective, like what kind of opportunities would that open up for us?
So what you're really saying, then, what are some of the disadvantages as well?
Yeah, like the pros
That's
and
really what
cons,
you're
like
saying.
what, obviously it's gonna be an annual cost, like if we can see all of those things
Mhm.
side by side, I think that'd be helpful.
Okay, sounds good.
I like that. Okay, Pete, we talked about the org committee, election of officers, so at our org committee meeting today, we're recommending that Pete Schultz become the new board chair, Grace Carey is the vice chair, and our secretary would be Leanne Canals. So, I guess that's a proposal I'm making, someone want to second that? Or, sorry, Kelsey, you seconding it or you?
Is it effective the next meeting?
Yes,
Okay,
effective next meeting.
gotcha.
I'll support.
Supported by Catherine, so let's have some discussion. You know, anything, comments? From the far end over there, Bryce,
Sounds good to me.
Kelsey?
I just want to say thank you, Pete and Grace, for agreeing to take on this role. I think, Pete, with your leadership, and Grace, with all of your leadership and expertise, that will really set up the board well to move forward, so thank you.
Especially that driving of that trolley, Pete.
Mhm.
We're gonna get you a helmet though, okay? That's the next resolution out here. You know? Or is it a space heater, I guess?
And I
The
promise,
driver
as
was
an
complaining about
executive
the space
director, not
heaters.
to be so needy. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, items moved from the consent
We have
agenda.
to vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm moving right along. It's been 48 minutes. We have to vote on that, so let's say all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Besides Pete? Okay. Cool. Motion passed. Oh, people are texting in their votes. All right, so items moved from the consent agenda. There was nothing there. Board member comments. Let's start with Bryce.
Thank you all for doing the accreditation day and letting me just hop on for a few minutes.
It was
I
good
was super
though.
busy, so
Yeah.
yeah, happy about that, and thanks for all your hard work as always.
Okay, Pete?
Again, congratulations to everybody on the accreditation. It was a lot of work put forward, and, you know, thanks Kelly, thanks Kim. You guys did a tremendous job on that. Rod, thank you very, very much for your years of service as chair. You've done a great job pulling us forward and leading us, and hopefully I can follow behind and fill the shoes to do the exact same kind of a job, so thank you.
Okay. Catherine?
I echo, thanks everyone for your hard work. I'm sure Pete will be a great new chair, and Grace is always a great support, so it'll be good to have you guys around. And I have a question though for the executive director. When do we get to see the video where we sang?
No.
So, It is coming. It took a little more editing than I
Well,
thought.
I'm not surprised.
But we did take, it's coronation day from Elsa, and I made everybody do a part, so I'm putting, it's accreditation day together. So
Cool.
even the county sang on it, so I'm very excited.
All right, Grace, your comments, please.
Yeah, echoing everyone else here, thank you for all the work everybody put together for the accreditation day. Looking very much forward to the Main Street Awards this year. And also, Rod, thank you for your time and your service here, and I hope this doesn't mean that you're leaving the EV committee as well.
No,
Like,
that's
still
not
have
part of
you
the
on
deal.
there.
Not until we're done with our presentation. I will be gone for 2 weeks though, by the way, so
Okay.
you've got a little vacation yourself coming up. Kelsey?
Yeah, I echo everyone's comments. Also want to say, Rod, we were on the board together with Pete here too before we had Kelly. And so, Rod, you've really taken the board in the right direction with putting order and structure and, helping get Kelly into place to help us so well. And so thank you for everything you've done. I kind of saw you looking away when Pete was giving the compliments, but they truly are deserved because you've made a world of difference in the DDA. And you brought it up to the reputation that it is now, so thank you.
Thank you.
Um,
Can I have my check back?
no. Just a brief update from the village. So the village did approve up to $5,000 to put no parking signs in the northeast quadrant along the first row that is village property. So they won't be behind Homegrown specifically because that's privately owned, but all the other spots they will be, and it's going to be every other spot. And so that's in an effort to try to help if we do get large crowds, save the restaurants some space. So just a quick update. We'll see how it ends up looking. I'm a little bit nervous that it's gonna be super busy with a sign every other spot, but hopefully it'll just be a normal looking thing
Yeah.
and it'll get better, ease some people's minds. So we're still working on that. There's a committee that's still meeting to address the concerns of potential parking issues. So thanks for everybody that's helping out with that.
And my comments are, thank you, everybody. I think our board really has, here again, going back to longevity, it's been a big improvement in the people here, and not to knock other people because it's all volunteer type of things, but we've done a lot of things, and a lot of things that wouldn't have been done, I think, 15 years ago, if I might say. A lot of activities because of the quality of the people on our board. So thank you all. And that's it. Okay, so I make a motion that we close the meeting. Anyone want to second that?
I second it.
Second by Pete. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Wow.